In the current global economic landscape, the powerful impact of innovative thinkers is undeniable. Among them, one name consistently captures the attention of investors and tech leaders: Jack Ma. This man, who started with nothing, transformed a small e-commerce company into the global powerhouse Alibaba. But what truly sets Jack Ma apart isn't just his achievements. It's his audacious and often contrarian predictions that force us to rethink the entire economic picture. In a world reeling from economic shocks, global pandemics, surging inflation, and geopolitical instability, investors worldwide are growing increasingly cautious. Old models aren't working like they used to. Once lauded gold mines have become precarious. Investors are now questioning the right path forward in a rapidly changing future. And then, amidst this chaos, Jack Ma, after a long hiatus from the public eye, spoke up again. But this time, he wasn't talking about e-commerce or Alibaba. Instead, he made it clear that real estate, once seen as the ultimate symbol of wealth and financial security, is losing its standing. And he didn't stop there. He predicted that 3 industries in the future will not only change how we live, but also become the 3 biggest investment pillars of the new era. With a calm yet convincing tone, he warned that if investors remain fixated on the past, still viewing land as the supreme asset, they might be missing out on a far grander journey. These insights immediately sparked a global debate, reflecting not just the transformation of the Chinese economy, where Jack Ma lives and operates, but also offering the entire world a fresh perspective. True value in the future won't be found in what we can physically touch, but in our ability to create lasting positive impact. So, what exactly are these 3 industries Jack Ma believes will rule the future? Why does he think real estate's time is over? And how can we, as investors seeking life-changing opportunities, ride this new wave before it becomes too big to control? Let's embark on an insightful journey of analysis. 1. Real estate. From hot commodity to heavy burden? There was a time when investment immediately brought to mind land, houses, apartments, and development projects. Real estate was the dream for countless individuals, not just because it was tangible, but because it was once the clearest symbol of stability and wealth. In many countries, including China and Vietnam, property was considered the safest store of wealth. Everyone believed property values could only go up, never down. The common saying, "They're not making more land," was the guiding principle for a whole generation of investors. But times have changed. Jack Ma, who has witnessed the ups and downs of many sectors, argues that real estate is gradually losing its glorious position. And significantly, this assessment isn't based on sentiment or vague speculation, but on the harsh realities we're seeing everywhere: excess supply and slowing urbanization. We've seen newly built cities mushrooming with hundreds of thousands of empty apartments, ghost cities that Western media have talked about for a decade. People no longer have enough faith to hold on to land and homes when values aren't increasing and maintenance costs are soaring. Similar situations aren't uncommon in places like Vietnam. Land prices peaked and then stagnated. Speculative buyers faced heavy losses, projects were abandoned, and the market became pickier than ever. A fundamental shift in value creation. One of the key reasons, according to Jack Ma, is that real estate no longer generates real value like it used to. In the modern economy, value doesn't just come from what you own, but from how you create influence, connect, and innovate. When real estate no longer serves actual living or business needs, it becomes a financial burden rather than a profit-generating asset. Imagine, previously, you bought a piece of land and sold it a few years later for double or triple the profit. That used to be a reality. But now, if you can't extract value from that land, say by renting it out, opening a service, or developing sustainable urban areas, it simply becomes idle capital, even depreciating over time. When everyone rushes into something, you should leave. Jack Ma once said this, and it's a piece of advice not for the faint-hearted, but one that rings true in a saturated market. When real estate becomes a playground for the masses, outsized profits are left only for a select few, if any. Policy shifts. Furthermore, governments worldwide, including China, Vietnam, and the US, are gradually redirecting resources away from pure real estate towards industries with longer-term impact through credit controls, capital tightening, and sustainable development initiatives. This isn't a death knell for real estate. It still holds a certain place in the economy. But according to Jack Ma, it will no longer be the most attractive sector, and certainly no longer a fertile ground where investors can rely on it as a safe path. If investors don't adapt, if they don't pivot, they risk getting stuck in a game where the rewards no longer justify the risks. As one door slowly closes, another is opening. So, where does Jack Ma see opportunity? Which industries are emerging as worthy successors to real estate? Let's explore that in the next section. 2. A new perspective on investment trends beyond tangible assets. As the real estate frenzy begins to cool, many still cling to the hope of a recovery. They await new upward cycles, expecting the market to return to its golden age. But for those with a broader vision, like Jack Ma, instead of clinging to old dreams, it's time to open our eyes to new horizons. The shift in investment thinking isn't just a fleeting trend. It's an inevitable evolution. The world is entering a completely different phase of development, where wealth no longer resides in land or tangible assets, but in knowledge, technology, and the ability to impact the lives of millions. In the digital age, speed is more important than scale. Companies that don't own an inch of land, like Uber, Airbnb, or Facebook, have market values far exceeding traditional real estate conglomerates. This shows that value in the new era is built from innovation and adaptability, not just from tangible things like houses or cars. Jack Ma doesn't deny the importance of real estate, but he believes that sustainable wealth in the future won't come from hoarding land, but from the ability to create solutions for humanity's major problems: technology, the environment, and healthcare. The three industries he predicts will become the pillars of the future economy, all revolve around these issues. Let's temporarily forget the concept of ownership we're familiar with. In the new era, what you create is what defines who you are. A tech startup without a physical headquarters can still raise millions of dollars. A bold idea for clean batteries or medical robots can attract investment funds even when the product is still on paper, because the world is searching for game-changing potential. The modern investment market is no longer a playground for those with the most money, but for those with vision and adaptability. You don't need to wait until you have billions to buy land. You can start by making small investments in innovation funds, learning about technology, or simply understanding how the digital world operates. The first step might be small, but the right direction is what determines success. The mindset of going against the crowd is also something Jack Ma always emphasizes. While many still rush to find the next piece of land to invest in, he focuses on areas others haven't seen or dared to believe in. That's the hallmark of a pioneer. Someone who doesn't follow the market, but creates the market. And that's also Jack Ma's message to anyone grappling with investment crossroads. Look at what's truly essential for the future. Invest in values that can help humanity develop instead of just chasing short-term profits. Let's now dive into the first of Jack Ma's three future pillars: innovation, science, and technology. This sector isn't just changing how we live, but also opening up countless investment opportunities that were unimaginable before. 3. Innovation, science, and technology, the king industry of the future. If there's one thing changing faster than the weather, it's technology. In this constantly shifting world, Jack Ma believes the most worthwhile industry to invest in is innovation, science, and technology. Not because it's glamorous, not because it's an easy path to riches, but because it's the foundation for everything else. Just imagine, in recent years, artificial intelligence, AI, once a vague concept, has become part of our daily lives. From search engines and language processing to factory automation and medical analysis, AI is everywhere. Giants like Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, and in Asia, Baidu and Tencent are pouring billions of dollars into research and development. It's not because they love risk, but because they understand that whoever controls technology controls the future. Jack Ma once said, "In the digital world, the person with data will be the winner." And that's no longer a prediction. It's a reality. From consumer data to biological, behavioral, and financial data, it all holds value if you know how to extract it and turn it into useful products or services. Beyond AI, technologies like cloud computing, blockchain, robotics, the Internet of Things, IoT, and augmented reality are all collectively reshaping the world. For example, a hospital in the US uses AI to diagnose images more accurately than doctors, or a farm in the Netherlands uses sensors and machine learning to adjust irrigation, saving up to 80% of resources. Things that once seemed like science fiction are now happening every single day. For investors, this means countless opportunities. You can invest directly in tech stocks, venture capital funds, or even start your own tech startup if you have an idea and passion. Most importantly, understand that investing in technology isn't just about putting in money, it's about investing in the future, in what will change how we live, work, love, and create. Jack Ma, an English teacher by background with no technical expertise, understood that innovation is vital for survival. That's why he built Alibaba on a technological foundation from the very beginning. From e-commerce and electronic payments to cloud computing. And that very foresight transformed Alibaba from a small office into a multi-hundred-billion-dollar corporation. Another crucial point: few people notice, technology doesn't discriminate by origin. You don't need to be an engineer to invest in innovation. You can be a teacher, an artist, a farmer. But if you understand and embrace technology, you'll have the opportunity to grasp it. A technological mindset doesn't demand coding skills. It demands open-mindedness, a willingness to learn, and especially the courage to change. And that's precisely why the technology industry, according to Jack Ma, will be the foundation for the other two: environmental protection and healthcare. Because whether it's reducing emissions or curing cancer, technology is always a powerful hand. 4. Environmental protection and sustainable development, the Green Revolution. If technology is the brain of the modern world, then the environment is the struggling lung that keeps it alive. And Jack Ma, with his forward-thinking mindset, saw this early on. He not only emphasized the importance of green development in his speeches, but also poured capital into sustainable projects even when the market was still skeptical. In an era where we face global issues like climate change, dwindling resources, air pollution, and rising sea levels, investing in the environment is no longer just for social activists. It's a survival strategy for businesses and a golden opportunity for smart investors. Look at the increasing number of natural disasters in recent years: wildfires in Australia, melting ice in the Arctic, historic floods in Europe and Asia. These are undeniable signs that the environment is speaking. It's no longer a warning, but a reality. And that reality is creating an urgent demand for green, sustainable solutions. Jack Ma believes that in the next few decades, any business that doesn't keep pace with sustainable development will be eliminated. From supply chains and energy to consumer products, all must consider environmental factors. Companies adopting circular economy models, using renewable energy, or developing eco-friendly products not only gain a competitive advantage, but also attract increasingly strong investment capital. In China, the government has invested hundreds of billions of yuan in clean energy technologies, from solar and wind power to electric vehicles. In Europe, green funds are flourishing, supported by preferential tax policies. And in Vietnam, solar energy, waste treatment, and organic agriculture businesses are becoming fundraising hotspots. The market is changing, and early movers gain the advantage. So how can an individual investor participate in this green revolution? You don't necessarily have to build an organic farm or invent a wind turbine. You can invest in the stocks of green companies, buy environmental bonds, or more simply, consume responsibly by choosing products from businesses that practice sustainable development. Every consumption or investment decision is a vote you cast for the future. Another important point: sustainable development isn't just about the environment, it's a smart economic strategy. As resources become more expensive, the traditional economic model of extract, produce, dispose is reaching its limits. Instead, the models of recycling, reuse, and optimization will become the new norm. Those who understand this early will have a significant advantage in the global investment game. Jack Ma once emphasized, "If you want to do something valuable in the next 30 years, start with the environment." And this advice isn't just for large enterprises, but for every individual looking to build a long-term, humane, and sustainable investment journey. 5. Health and medical care. Investing in survival. In a world where technology dominates and the environment is crying out, there's another essential sector Jack Ma believes will play a pivotal role in the future: health and medical care. And he doesn't say that emotionally. Jack Ma understands very well that technology can change the world and the environment can sustain life, but only when people are healthy does it all make sense. The world's population is aging rapidly. Developed countries like Japan, Germany, and South Korea have entered a super-aging phase. Even developing countries are seeing an increasing proportion of older people. This leads to an undeniable reality: the demand for medical care, disease prevention, long-term care, and mental health will explode in the next few decades. But modern healthcare doesn't just stop at hospitals, medicine, or health insurance. Today, it's a multi-dimensional ecosystem where technology, data, and people connect to create comprehensive solutions. From heart rate monitoring via smartwatches to remote diagnostics using AI, or robots performing surgery with near-perfect accuracy. Jack Ma once invested in digital health, not because it was trendy, but because he saw an immense unmet need. And where there's a real need, there's an opportunity for sustainable investment. Imagine investing in a company that develops a health tracking app, helping millions detect diseases early and prevent them effectively. You're not just making a profit, you're also contributing to alleviating the burden on healthcare systems and improving community quality of life. That's the kind of investment that brings both economic and humanitarian value, something Jack Ma always pursued. Even related sectors like biotechnology, functional foods, medical devices, and psychological healthcare are seeing strong capital inflows. Many startups in health tech have raised tens, even hundreds of millions of dollars with simple but effective products. Interestingly, the recent global pandemic, despite its heavy toll, served as a wake-up call for the world. People realized that investing in health is no longer an option, but a necessity. Governments increased healthcare spending. People were willing to spend more on prevention rather than just treatment, and businesses and investors shifted towards comprehensive health protection, products, and services. From a personal perspective, investing in health also starts with oneself. Raising awareness about healthy living, proper eating, and physical and mental training are all long-term investments in your own life. And when you understand the value of health, you'll easily recognize the potential in this industry that's silently saving millions of lives every day. Jack Ma once shared, "A successful entrepreneur is not just someone who makes a lot of money, but someone who solves problems for society." And what problem is more pressing than caring for human life, quality of life, and longevity? Thus, along with technology and the environment, healthcare completes the picture of the three spearhead industries that Jack Ma believes will shape the future. 6. Comparing the three industries, a future map for investors. After exploring the three industries Jack Ma predicts will shape the future, technology, environment, and healthcare, it's time to put them side by side to better understand their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. Because investing isn't just about chasing trends, it's about deeply understanding their nature and choosing what aligns with your personal vision. Technological innovation stands out with its remarkable development speed, high profit margins, global scalability, and profound impact on all other sectors. However, it comes with fierce competition, risks related to product novelty, and short innovation life cycles. Technology demands investors to be constantly vigilant, agile, and especially willing to accept failure to achieve great success. Meanwhile, the environmental and sustainable development sector has a unique advantage. It's tied to national policies and global trends. Governments, international organizations, and consumers are all pushing for a green transition. This creates a highly favorable legal and social environment for businesses operating in this field. However, green business models often require a longer time to generate profits and demand significant initial capital investment. But once the system operates stably, this will be a sector that delivers sustainable and less volatile returns. Health and medical care is different. This is a field that will never go out of style because medical needs are fundamental and irreplaceable. The advantages of this industry are its reliability, long-term user commitment, and high potential for integration with technology. However, legal barriers, research and development costs, and high specialized requirements are factors that make this field difficult to access without thorough preparation. When looking at the big picture, one prominent truth emerges. All three industries do not operate in isolation, but intertwine, support, and drive each other. Technology is the catalyst for innovation in both healthcare and the environment. The environment creates a healthy living context where health becomes a core value. And healthcare, when applying technology and sustainable development philosophies, opens up intelligent, effective, and highly personalized forms of care. This is precisely why Jack Ma didn't just pick a single industry, but emphasized a development triangle, where each vertex represents a major human need and where investors can find sustainable, in-depth opportunities aligned with a long-term vision. The crucial question now isn't which industry is best, but which industry is best for you. If you love innovation, agility, and adaptability, technology is the ideal choice. If you care about the living environment and long-term values, green development will be a sure path. And if you prioritize health and quality of life, boldly step into the healthcare sector. Investing is no longer about catching a trend. It's about choosing which side you stand on in the decades that will shape humanity's future. And Jack Ma, with the vision of someone who was ahead of his time, has given us the roadmap. 7. How to start. Mindset creates the future. We've journeyed together through the evolving market landscape, the decline of real estate's allure, and the opening of 3 doors to the future: technology, environment, and healthcare. But perhaps the greatest value this journey brings isn't just knowledge about industries, but a shift in how we perceive life and investment. Jack Ma didn't simply propose 3 investment sectors. His underlying message is far grander. To invest wisely, you first need to see the world around you accurately. The era of quick profit strategies is over. The time when wealth came from purely material assets is gone. The future belongs to those who understand core value that comes from creating positive impact, fostering sustainability, and improving community quality of life. So, you, the one watching this video, where are you on that journey? Perhaps you've invested in real estate and feel bewildered by the market reversal. Perhaps you're young, just starting to accumulate wealth, and don't know where to begin. Or maybe you have capital and knowledge, but are still seeking a new, distinct, sustainable, and proud path. The answer isn't about how much money you have, but whether you dare to change your mindset. Start with small things. Read a book about technology you never thought you'd read. Research a green energy startup operating near you. Question whether the food you consume daily is truly healthy. Follow sustainable development policies that governments are promoting. Try a small investment in a tech company, an ESG fund, or even take an online course on big data. These things won't make you a millionaire overnight, but they will gradually build your foundation of knowledge, mindset, and inspiration, so that when the real opportunity comes, you'll be ready to seize it. Don't wait until everyone else rushes in. Don't wait until the market calls your name. Be proactive in learning, exploring, and acting. Because the future isn't for followers. The future belongs to those who create value, dare to take a different path, and never stop learning. And you can absolutely be that person. As Jack Ma once said, if you don't give up on learning, no one can stop you from succeeding. The journey of investing in the 3 biggest industries of the future isn't a shortcut. It's a long road, but it's also the most worthwhile one. Because in the end, wealth isn't just about having a lot of money. It's about living a meaningful life, contributing to something larger than yourself. Start today with a small step. The future awaits you. Are you ready?